The stage lights of America's Got Talent 2025 glimmered like diamonds. The camera zoomed in on the middle-aged man and a boy holding hands as they stepped nervously onto the world's biggest stage. "Hello, what's your name?" Simon Cowell asked, his familiar British tone cutting through the excited murmurs of the audience. The father took a deep breath. His accent revealed the warmth of the islands. "My name is Roberto, and this is my son, Miko. We're from Manila, Philippines." A soft gasp and round of applause filled the hall. Simon smiled. "What are you going to do for us tonight?" Roberto looked at his son, then back at the judges. "We are going to sing together." He hesitated before adding, voice trembling, "This song is from my late wife Miko's mom. She always told us never to stop dreaming, no matter how hard life gets." The crowd went silent, and then music began. Flashback, Manila. 3 years earlier, it was raining. Manila's narrow streets shimmered with puddles. Roberto sat under a small tarpaulin in front of their house made of thin plywood and rusted tin. His guitar, worn and scratched, lay across his lap. Miko, only 9 then, sat beside him with a small plastic cup, counting a few coins they'd earned from singing at the market that day. "Papa," Miko asked softly, "when will Mama come back?" Roberto froze. The question pierced deeper than any storm. "She's watching us from heaven, Enoch," he whispered, brushing his son's hair. "Every time you sing, she hears you." Miko nodded, the tears formed in his eyes. Roberto hugged him close. "Someday, son, we'll sing on a big stage. For her. For everyone to know her love still lives." Back to present, the audition begins. As Roberto strummed the first note of "You Raise Me Up," Miko's small voicing joined in, gentle, clear, and pure as sunlight breaking through clouds. The father's deep, emotional tone blended with his son's innocent one, like two souls reaching across heaven and earth. The judges leaned forward. Sofia Vergara whispered, "Oh my God." Heidi Klum clasped her hands, eyes already welling up. Then came the second verse. Roberto's voice cracked, memories of his wife flooding through him. But before he could falter, Miko squeezed his hand mid-song, never missing a note. That single gesture, the hand of a child holding his father together, sent shivers through the entire auditorium. By the time they reached the final chorus, the crowd was on its feet. "You Raise Me Up," they sang, their voices trembling but strong. And then silence. A second later, the room exploded into applause and tears. Simon's silence. The audience chanted, "Golden buzzer. Golden buzzer." But Simon Cowell didn't move. He just stared deeply, almost lost in thought. Finally, he leaned into the microphone. "Roberto Miko," he began, voice slower than usual. "In all my years on this show, I've heard thousands of singers. But what you just did, that wasn't just a song. That was a love story. A father's love, a son's courage, and a mother's memory that still sings." He paused. Simon looked at them again, eyes glistening. Then he stood up. The golden buzzer flashed. The audience erupted in screams as confetti rained down. Miko gasped, covering his mouth. Roberto dropped to his knees, tears streaming down his face as he hugged his son tightly. Simon walked onto the stage, something he rarely did. He placed his hand on Roberto's shoulder and whispered, "Your wife would be proud." A journey beyond the stage. The viral clip spread like wildfire across social media. Within hours, father-son duo from Manila trended worldwide. Millions watched as a man who once sang for coins under Manila rain now stood covered in golden confetti. News networks in the Philippines aired it non-stop. Strangers in the slums of Manila gathered around small televisions, cheering, crying, shouting. "That's our kababayan." For Roberto and Miko, the dream wasn't about fame, it was about keeping a promise. During the semi-finals, they shared more of their story. How Roberto used to work as a jeepney driver, saving spare change to buy second-hand guitars. How Miko practiced singing every night, even when brownouts turned their home dark. How his mother, Lina, used to sing lullabies that kept them going through hunger and grief. Their performances grew more powerful, not just musically but spiritually. They weren't chasing a trophy. They were healing the world with their music. The finals. For the finals, they performed their original song, "Voice of Heaven," written by Roberto about Lina. Before they sang, Miko looked into the camera. "Mama, this one's for you." The music began. Soft piano, trembling strings. Roberto's deep voice narrated pain and gratitude, while Miko's high notes carried it toward hope. People wept openly. Judges stood before the song even ended. When the final note faded, the camera captured Simon wiping a tear. He pressed the button to speak. "You two remind me why this show exists. It's not about perfection, it's about truth. And you, from a small corner of the world, just reminded millions what love really sounds like." After the show, they didn't win the title, but they won hearts around the globe. A week later, a record label offered them a contract. They released their first single, and within days, it topped charts across Asia. They built a small music foundation in Manila to teach underprivileged kids how to sing. Roberto named it Lina's voice, and every time he performed, He looked up at the sky before the first note, knowing she was listening.